Today I woke up feeling really depressed, and it's been a while since I felt like that, and I didn't know why. I just woke up with this feeling of, what am I even doing? What am I actually doing with my life? And this feeling that I used to get is the same feeling I used to have when I worked in corporate. I used to wake up and think, can I even do this? Like, another day doing the same thing. And I used to drag myself to work, and I would force a big cup of coffee down me, and I used to even have 2 cups of coffee just to get through the day. And it cycled back around. Everything comes in cycles. And I had a client booked in at 2 o'clock today, a one-on-one session, and I messaged her and I said, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the session. I feel awful, and I don't hold space for people if I'm not feeling great, because that's not responsible. And I said, just let me see how I feel a bit later, I'll let you know. Now what I did is that I've now got tools that I didn't used to have when I worked in corporate. So when I used to work in corporate, I would go and get drunk, I would binge watch TV, I would abuse food, I would abuse sex, I would do all of these different things to avoid the feeling. But now I have tools. And the first tool I use is sharing. Instead of keeping everything bottled up inside, I shared, so I told my wife how I was feeling. And having that support system, so if your partner knows, or your family knows, or your best friend knows, or whatever support system you have, if they know that you're not feeling great today, they can then give you extra support if they're able to, if they have the capacity to. So that was the first thing that I did. Then I looked at my diary and I was like, well, what can I shift around today? Because the feeling I had was, I basically had about 8 hours of calls in my diary. I'm doing a lot right now. We launched a new business. We've got a 7-month-old daughter. We've got a 3-year-old daughter. We are in this huge transformational period in our life, and I just had so many calls back to back to back to back to back. So I looked at, what can I do? Again, it's like being smart about it. And one of the main things I always look at whenever depression comes around for me, and for me, depression is not a medical condition. I'm a therapist, I'm a hypnotherapist. I help people with depression, with anxiety, with mental health issues. That's what I do day in, day out. Depression is an energy state. It's a state that you dip into. And for me, it's a sign that you're living out of alignment right now. And that was the question. It's like, what part of my life is not in alignment right now? And Jim Carrey, the actor, he talks about this as well. He says depression, when you are depressed, it's because you need deep rest from the character that you're pretending to be, from this character that you've created, this life that you've created, which isn't even what you want. And it's like, you just need to rest. Just stop it. So I looked at that and I'm like, I realized, I had this realization that I've basically created really similar to what I used to do for corporate. I used to be in a telesales team, and I used to manage a telesales team, and it was like 8 hours a day at a desk, and I'm like, I'm spending 8 hours a day at my desk. Like, this isn't right. And so I spoke to a friend, and I'm like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we want to live in a community. We want to be able to grow our own food. I want to wake up and go meditate with my friends and swim naked in a river and sing by the fire, and like, this is what I would love to create. And it's like this yearning for tribe and community and closeness. And just having that conversation with my friend to remind me and realign me shifted. Everything shifted. But there's some other practices I had too. So one of the things that I do when I feel not great is I go into ceremony, I go into meditation. And this is something I've developed over many, many years. I've done thousands of hours of meditation, been on so many different courses, learning how to be with what is. So I made myself a cacao. A cacao is this amazing plant medicine that it's basically raw chocolate. You can make it into a drink or you can eat it. And they do these cacao ceremonies all over the world for thousands of years. So I made myself a cup of cacao. It brings you into presence. People do coffee ceremonies too. You can do that if that's your truth. coming into presence and really feeling, okay, what is not in alignment right now? Where do I need to create this shift? And that might mean getting really real and really honest with yourself. Maybe it's a job that you don't like. Maybe you're not enjoying your business. Maybe you're in a relationship that you're not supposed to be in. Maybe you're eating food that isn't good for you. Most of the serotonin in your body is made in your gut, so if you're eating junk, if you're eating crap, you feel crap. That's a lot. 7 years ago, I gave up alcohol. Stopped taking drugs. Stopped numbing myself and started feeling more. So these are all tools. One of the most important things that I did, which shifted everything for me, I had a client, I had a call, and I knew I was getting ready for that call, and I wanted to be there in service at the fullest on that call. And so I called in the energy. I called in the energy to be there. And it's the difference between, and I hope this is received with love, whoever hears this, being selfish, like thinking about myself, and being selfless, like thinking, how can I be there for the other? Because that is my alignment. My alignment is when I'm in service. My alignment is when I'm showing up and helping people and transforming the world and bringing more light to people and helping them. That's why I do what I do. And so when I was on that call, just before getting on that, I could feel everything inside me starting to shift. And Neil Donald Walsh talks about this in the Conversations with God books. If you want love, go and give love to another. You will have so much love. If you want more abundance, go and create abundance in the life of another. Everything that you are calling in, go and create it for another, and you will have it. And so I'm so thankful that I could be in depression, where I might sit for days sometimes, or even months in my old life, and now I can shift it in hours. But not just shift it, get the lessons from it, realize it's here for a reason, tune into the reason, make the changes, and then everything shifts. Today's World Mental Health Day. I didn't know that. When I woke up, I didn't know that. When I went online and I saw it was World Mental Health Day, I'm like, that's why I've been made to feel this again today, to bring it all back in a cycle so I can process it, and then I can share with people wherever you are at right now. If you're feeling those depression energies sometimes, if you get into that state, if it takes you weeks right now to get out of it, or to shift it, or to get the lessons from it, or if it takes you months, you can learn these tools. You can come and learn, come and join our quantum regression, come and join our Q-RIT tribe, come and learn meditation. Go on my YouTube channel, type in Luke Scott official meditation. There's hundreds of hours of videos and meditations and all sorts of activations for you. Come and join our tribe on Facebook. If you type in DNA activation and healing with Luke, it's a completely free Facebook group. There's like 14 hours of activations, meditations, courses, trainings, completely free. I'd love to invite all of you. Just type in DNA activation with Luke on Facebook. All right, this is why I'm here. And I just went to a beautiful, it's called a talking circle with a group of friends. That's why I'm just literally outside right now. I haven't even gone to my car yet. I'm just outside. I felt inspired. It's a group of we've got a group of 13 friends, and we meet once every 2 weeks, and we just share what's real instead of bottling it up, instead of keeping it all inside. And energy can never be created or destroyed, it's only transferred. So if you keep pushing it down and ignoring it and taking out the alcohol and the drugs and the food and just numbing it, it gets more and more intense, because your body, your being, it wants you to change, it wants you to expand, it wants you to love life. Life is here to be enjoyed. And if you've got trauma that's blocking that right now, if your heart's closed, or if you are living out of alignment, only you can make those changes. No one else is going to come and do that for you. But you can get the support. You can find a coach or a therapist or me or someone, or like reach out to one of the other Q-RIT practitioners, that you can find someone who can help you. Just drop me a message if that is you right now, and we'll put you into the appropriate place. Even if you like thinking about the money side of it and you can't afford whatever, I've got a completely free Q-RIT session I can give you, which can help you improve any area of your life. Just message me, say free Q-RIT session or something like that. I'll just send it to you. We're on a mission to get every single one of our brothers and sisters thriving. Every single one. Every person to be living in abundance. This world we live in now, I call it the broken system. It's absolutely crazy. And I just shared today, did you know that in the 1940s, lobotomies were the way that they treated anxiety and depression? 1949, 99% of doctors agreed that lobotomies were safe and effective. Does that sound familiar? If you had anxiety or depression, they would put a needle in your eye here, hammer it in, get rid of the emotional center in your brain, and you became a zombie. That was what was common practice in the 1940s. And they weren't even surgeons. You go to a psychiatrist and they could do that for you without any anybody certifying anything like, oh yeah, I don't feel good, okay, cool, have a lobotomy. And now they do the same thing, but they call them antidepressants. They call it Ritalin. These things that stop you from feeling, they're chemical lobotomies, and they can give it to you. Someone I know, they went through a breakup and they went to their doctor, and they were a young girl, and they went to their doctor and they'd had this breakup, and they said, I'm really sad. And the doctor said, okay, well, have some antidepressants, and they took them. And then 3 years later, they're still on the antidepressants, and they're scared to come off them because they're scared to feel again. But they weren't depressed. They just had a breakup, right? They just had a breakup and they didn't know how to process the grief. And how many people who have depression are diagnosed with depression right now? Actually, they just need to process some feelings. They've got grief or anger or sadness or trauma or something deep inside. Like, why are we medicating people? Why are we giving them these chemical lobotomies? Surely we can create, using quantum healing, holistic healing, surely we can create a system where people can learn to process their feelings. And that's what we just did at the circle today. People were crying and sharing, and it's beautiful. You could start that. You could start a circle in your area. All we have is a WhatsApp group. It's just a WhatsApp group, a group of friends. We get together, we support each other. We're there and we just listen. You could come and learn how to be a quantum healer if you want to. You could, come join our quantum healing tribe, but you could as well just be there to listen for a friend. We can change the world in the next 4 years. We can make holistic healing and quantum healing the mainstream healings. I saw recently this idea that more people have woken up in the last 3 years than in the last 30 years. That's the Great Awakening. That's what we're going through right now. And if you are conscious, if you are sensitive, and you live in a broken system, this idea that being sane in an insane society, it's challenging sometimes. You see war on the TV and you're in peace, and you're like, why? How are people still doing that? Surely we can bring peace to this earth. We see children being hurt, medicated, mutilated. It's insane. Surely we can stop all of this. We can be the generation that changes this world, that makes it so white. No one on this earth should be hungry right now. No one on this earth should be malnourished. People throw away enough food every day to feed every hungry person on the planet. All we have to do is change the system. They raised £100 billion for testing centres in the UK in 2020. That £100 billion, they could have raised that to end world hunger. But it's just a swipe of a pen for someone. How can we get those people to swipe their pen and shift this stuff? It starts with us, it starts with the conscious ones, it starts with the ones with the big hearts. So if I can help you in any way, reach out. I just felt to jump on and share this. If anyone could do with hearing this message, just send it to them, share and tag them. Wherever you're at right now, as a therapist, okay, so as someone who helps people day in, day out, one-on-one sessions, group sessions, meditations, events, retreats, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have any of those kind of things, it's for a reason. There is something in your life that's not in alignment. If you have a physical health issue, if you have a disease, there's something in your life that's not in alignment. There's some kind of trauma. It might be from your childhood, it might be from your ancestral line, it might be in the collective, it might be in your environment. Like, there's something for you to change and shift. When you find that thing, the disease goes away, because the disease is actually a way for you to bring attention to it, because you've not been making time. And I'll just leave you with this. I heard this idea and it changed the way I thought about life. And whatever you believe in, whatever you call the energy that creates everything, the energy that turns an apple seed into an apple tree and makes an apple tree produce apples every year, whatever name you give to that, it's this idea that first it speaks to you in a whisper. You have to be sensitive to listen to the whispers. That's where meditation comes in. If you don't listen to the whispers, then it shouts. Maybe you've experienced that, literal shout. But most people ignore that too. They're happy in the discomfort, they're comfortably numb. And then, if you ignore the shouts, it gives you a slap. And it's to wake you up, it's to show you there's a better way, there's a higher path. And if you ignore the slap, then you get hit by a bus. And then you go, whoa, how did that happen? How did I get hit by this truck? Like, it came out of nowhere, but it didn't. You ignored the whispers, and you ignored the shouts, and you ignored the slap, and then the truck. So make time to listen to the whispers, whether that's with a therapist, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through doing ceremonies, whatever your truth is. Some great tools I can recommend are breath work, ceremonies, meditation, quantum healing and quantum therapy, not conventional therapy. Conventional therapy doesn't go deep enough for me. I did conventional therapy for a long time. It didn't go deep enough. It only worked on the level of the mind. You need someone who can work on the level of energy. That's a really important piece, and let's see what we can do in this world by 2027. Thank you. Thank you for everything you are. If no one's told you today you are amazing, if no one's told you today you are beautiful, you are powerful, you are valuable, you have so much to share with this world, you change the world every day just by being. There's this saying that one candle can light 1 million candles, and that's what you are. You go through your day, you light a candle. It might just be that person at the checkout at the supermarket that nobody's spoken to today. It might be that elderly person you sit next to on the park bench and you're the first conversation they've had in a week. Like, who knows what you do, or how your candle goes around lighting sparks in the hearts of others, but you do. You know you do. You're listening to this, so you must be one of the people on the leading edge of consciousness, and you're amazing. Remember that.